Hello everyone, I am Micah Danica Barantes Estenzo, a third-year college student at Cebu Technological University, Bachelor of Science in Marine Engineering. Today, for our practical assessment in power plant diesel, I will discuss to you the principles of engine. Explain the difference between 4-stroke and 2-stroke cycle. Describe the basic construction of diesel engine. Describe the simple construction of the principal components of diesel engine.
So the engine principles. A diesel engine, also known as compression ignition engine, is an internal combustion engine that uses the heat of air compression to initiate ignition and burn, and fuel that has been injected in vapor form into the combustion chamber. Principle of operation of a 4-stroke cycle diesel engine. A 4-stroke engine is an internal combustion engine in which the piston completes 4 separate strokes while turning the crankshaft. The first is the suction or intake stroke. Second is the compression stroke. Third, power or expansion stroke. And lastly, the exhaust stroke. So the first stroke is the suction or intake stroke. So as the piston moves downward, a vacuum is created and sucks fresh air from the atmosphere and charges it into the cylinder, passing through an open intake valve while the exhaust valve is closed. I will show you a demonstration of the suction or intake stroke. So the second stroke is the compression. At this time, both intake and exhaust valves are now closed and piston starts compressing the air charge inside the cylinder as it moves upward in order to make air more denser. I will show you the illustration right here. So the third stroke is the power or expansion stroke. Both intake and exhaust valves are still closed and the piston moves downward as being pushed by the expanding burned gases under tremendous pressure and high temperature. You will see it right here. So the last part is the exhaust stroke. When the piston is almost through of its power stroke, a few degrees before bottom dead center, the exhaust valves begins to open and allow the high pressure and temperature gases to escape into the atmosphere. As the piston starts to move upward, it drives out the remaining burned gases left inside the cylinder into the atmosphere for the next cycle. It will be shown right here. So since we are done with the principle of operation of a 4-stroke cycle diesel engine, let us now move on to 2-stroke cycle diesel engine. So guys, a 2-stroke diesel engine is a diesel engine that works by combining what is normally 4 cycles: the intake, the compression, the combustion, and exhaust. It only has 2 strokes or 1 revolution of the engine. The 2 strokes are: 1 stroke compresses air in the cylinder to ignite fuel oil. 2. The other stroke is produced by the burning gases. It is the power stroke.
The difference between 4-stroke cycle engine and 2-stroke cycle engine. 4-stroke engine completes 1 rotation of crankshaft after completing 1 cycle, while 2-stroke engine completes 1 rotation of crankshaft after completing 1 cycle. Power is produced once every 4-stroke of the piston. Power is produced once every 2-stroke of the piston. 4-stroke engine are heavier compared to 2-stroke cycle engine. Describe the basic construction of diesel engine. Diesel engine is an internal combustion engine in which air is compressed to a sufficient high temperature to ignite diesel fuel injected into the cylinder, where combustion and expansion actuate the piston. It converts the chemical energy to mechanical energy, which is the reason why power is produced. Describe with the aid of sketch, drawing, or picture the assembled construction of the principal components of diesel engine. So first is the bed plate. A bed plate is the lowermost portion of a marine engine which supports the engine structures and is also one of the most loaded constructional parts of the engine. For large engines, the bed plate is fabricated in parts with flat bottom type construction having high surface finish. Cylinder head. The main task of the cylinder head is to close the combustion chamber of the engine from the top. The cylinder head sits on the engine and closes off the combustion chamber. The inlet and the exhaust valves. The main function of engine valves is to let air in and out of the cylinders. The air is used to help ignite the fuel, which will drive the pistons up and down. There are 2 types of the engine valves: the intake and the exhaust valves. The intake valves, of course, is to let the air in, and the exhaust valve let exhaust air out. Piston. It is the moving component that is contained by a cylinder and is made gas tied by piston rings. In an engine, its purpose is to transfer force from expanding gas in the cylinder to the crankshaft via piston rod and or connecting rod. Connecting rod. The connecting rod is generally abbreviated to con rod. The con rod connects the piston to the crankshaft to transfer combustion pressure to the crankhead. The camshaft. Camshaft is a mechanical component of an internal combustion engine. It opens and closes the inlet and exhaust valves of the engine at the right time with the exact stroke and in precisely defined sequence. Piston rings. Piston rings maintain gas compression between the piston and the cylinder wall. Piston rings seal the cylinder so that combustion gas generated at the time of ignition does not leak into the opening between the piston and the cylinder. The cylinder liner. Cylinder liner, serving as the inner wall of a cylinder, forms a sliding surface for the piston rings while retaining the lubricant within. Thank you for watching, and I hope you learned something.